Hello, Eric Gimbal, ericgimbal.com, and today I'm going to tell you who I think is the real enemy of Nikon and Canon. Let's start. Well, year 2018 and 2019, we've seen new changes on the camera market, with Nikon stepping into the full-frame mirrorless with the Z7 and the Z6, and Z7 and Z6, depending where you are, and Canon with the R and the RP. And then also a small step from, or big step I should say, because the results are amazing, is Panasonic with the full frame, the Lumix S1 and S1R, that from micro four thirds went to for the first time a full frame format. So what is the future? What is the enemy? What is the risk? Well, many people think that the risk is Sony, and the enemy is Sony for Nikon and for Canon, and I don't think this is Sony. Why? Many Canon users have many Canon lenses, and what they do is they move to Sony, and with an adapter they use their Canon lens on a Sony body, and it's fine, it works really great. And these people that go towards Sony, they have no problem coming back to Canon if Canon would make a better camera body, or whether mirrorless or reflex, doesn't matter, they can come back. And if they come back to Canon mirrorless, anyway they use an adapter on Sony, they could perfectly use an adapter on the R format. So it's not really a problem to go to Sony. They can always come back. Nikon clients are, I think, more faithful to the brand. So normally they don't move away that easy. And anyway, I think Nikon have made a good job with their Z6 and Z7. So Nikon users are quite happy with the results and what they've seen. Canon users are not that happy with the new R line, the R format, because the results are not there. So for Nikon it's a bit easier. But who is the real enemy in my opinion? I think the real enemy in my opinion is actually Fujifilm. Why? Because Fujifilm has no full frame. So that sounds strange. So why is it an enemy if they have no full frame? Because they have no full frame. I explain. If I go from Canon APS-C or Nikon APS-C to Fujifilm, I'm going to find brilliant cameras, great APS-C cameras, and I will be really happy with the brand. So I will be so happy that I will stay there. And if I want to grow, I will likely check the line of product by Fujifilm, and then I will find medium format cameras. And if I try medium format camera because I do landscape, fashion, editorial, fine art, portraits, I'll never come back. I'll never come back. So if I go to medium format and one day I say, I'll go back to Canon, what is your medium format camera? Oh, we don't have. Hello Nikon, I'm back. What do you... Oh, I don't have. So these people that go to Fujifilm, if they try APS-C, they will be really happy. If they try medium format, they will not come back. This is maybe also where Pentax has a small space, because they also have medium format with really good score. So the thing is, Pentax is not well known enough. It's for people of my age, it's really well known, but for nowadays it's not known. Their presence on the market is really bad in some countries. They don't have, not always available, so it's hard to find Pentax. So they have to really better their marketing and their sales presence. But this is a very good option too. But anyway, the enemy is Fujifilm. So knowing that it's Fujifilm, Canon knows it, and Nikon knows it. They know that people can go to Sony and come back. But if they go to Fujifilm, it's really complicated. So here you have two different policies. Nikon decide to stay nice with their clients and keep giving good product. Of course, they could give better APS-C cameras because they have the same sensor as some Sony cameras, but they don't score the same thing. Why? Because they want to protect their full frame market, but they still give some decent APS-C cameras. I don't speak about the top of the range like the D500. I speak about lower range like 3500, 5600. They are decent cameras for the price ask. But Canon has another policy. It's just ruining the APS-C market, their own APS-C market, stripping their camera down to toys. I put toys like this, but they make it really basic. So people, when they use a Canon APS-C, they think that if they really want to be pro and do better, they do need full frame. Because Canon wants you to go to their full frame camera. They don't want you to buy an APS-C camera. If you want to be a pro, you need a full frame Canon camera. This is their policy. Why? Because if you get a full frame Canon camera, you need to change your lenses from EFS to EF for full frame. So if you spend money on a body and also on lenses, you're likely to stay with Canon for another 5 to 10 years. So they want you to move on, to lock you there. And that gives them time to better their mirrorless camera, to give you a better full frame mirrorless. So they need you now to move on to full frame. This is why I think they're destroying the APS-C line. Make it really basic, down to toys. I don't speak about the 7D Mark II maybe, but although it's not as good as it could be, okay? So they want you to do this. If we look at the market of who's doing what, Fujifilm is doing APS-C cameras and medium format. Pentax is doing APS-C full frame and medium format with the 645Z. Hasselblad is doing only medium format. Phase 1 only medium format. Sony is doing APS-C and full frame. Panasonic is doing Micro Four Thirds full frame. Leica is doing full frame and medium format. Nikon APS-C and full frame. Canon APS-C and full frame. Olympus Micro Four Thirds. And there are other like Samsung, and there are the brand, but I'm telling you the most there are, okay? What we're seeing now is what we saw 20, 30 years ago with the analog photography, is people who really need fine art, printing large, fashion, editorial, they all went to medium format. With Pentax 6.7, Mamiya 6.7, Fujifilm had medium format, Hasselblad, all this. And people for press and reportage were going to stay at full frame, 35mm. But nowadays, press and reportage almost never print. So they don't actually require the largest resolution, they don't require the highest dynamic range, and even what they do is available like a few hours on the internet and then it gets lost at yesterday news or last week news or last month news. But the lifetime of pictures on the internet on press is like 1 day or 2 days, so it doesn't really matter. So the problem is that someone who goes to Fujifilm or Olympus or Panasonic in Micro Four Thirds, well, anyone goes to APS-C and is doing press or reportage, realize that it's more than enough for what they're doing. It's more than that. It's smaller than a full frame, lenses are smaller. If you look at the Olympus OMD 1 Mark II, for example, or the 1X, but we look at the OMD 1 Mark II, which is cheaper. If you're doing sport photography, you can have a burst of 60 images per second, and you actually can, in RAW file, you can actually do pro capture. It means when you half press your trigger, it starts making pictures, 35 pictures, and it's 35 images per second, and then it rewrites on top of it and then when you finally press, it starts making the burst at 60 images per second. It means it's impossible to miss a shot. So you're following a football player who's about to score a goal, and you start pressing, it starts making picture, and then when you really trigger, you get the right picture. It's impossible to miss your picture. That makes a lot more sense than using a full frame or some other brand APS-C. So really, when you see that, you think, why do I need a full frame? For press, you don't need it. Oh, what you need for what you do is high resolution, high dynamic range, high everything. Go medium format. So this is where Fujifilm, Pentax, Hasselblad, Phase 1 make a lot more sense. Phase 1 and Phase 1 is really expensive. Hasselblad, they have two coins, but with the X1D, they have some kind of affordable Hasselblad medium format. And when you look at Fujifilm and Pentax, they are really affordable medium format. So if we look at the score in DxO Mark, the company that scores all cameras and lenses, all that, I'm going to give you the top 10 and then the score 25 and the score 31. The top one is Hasselblad X1D 50 megapixels. Top 2, Pentax 645Z, which is medium format. Both the first one and the second one are medium format. Third score, Panasonic Lumix S1R, which just arrived. It's new. It's already on score third place. Top 3. Top 4, Nikon D850. And we see that Nikon is doing a really good job. Top 5, Sony A7R3. Good job by Sony also. Place number 6, Nikon Z7. Really good entry in the full frame mirrorless market by Nikon. 7, Sony A7R2, which is not new, but it's still there. 8, Nikon D810. 9, Sony Cybershot RX IR2, which is a bridge compact camera, which is full frame, but it scores really well. Place number 10, Pentax K1, which is a really good camera. And where is the first Canon? The first Canon is at the place 25. Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. And on the top of the range Canon, which is a 1DX Mark II, is placed on 31. So Canon is lost. It's more than this. Many people tell me, well, yeah, but full frame is the solution, full frame is the best, full frame is everything, blah 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 blah. Well, many people have a Canon 5D Mark III, which was issued in the year 2012. Well, every Sony of the series 6000, I mean 6000, 6300, 6400 and 6500. The 6000 was issued in 2014. They all score better than the 5D Mark III. I think people should start thinking a bit, thinking about what they're telling about full frame, making it general. Obviously, we're looking at results that are better. So the future is really complicated. So what is going to happen? Well, basically, it doesn't make sense to have a full frame nowadays. If you are in the art business, it makes sense to go medium format. If you're in the reportage business, it makes sense to stay on APS-C or Micro Four Thirds. But if you want to stay in APS-C, you want the best. And Canon and Nikon are not there. They're not at their best. Yeah, if you look at the Nikon D500, yes, you have a great camera. But then if you compare an APS-C camera by Sony or an APS-C camera by Fujifilm, you get better product for similar price, or maybe sometimes higher price, but you get better product. That means that we are back to where we were 30 years ago. I need the best in resolution, dynamic ranges, I go medium format. I need the best on weight and ease of use, price tag, many things like this, well, why not stay in APS-C or go Micro Four Thirds? Many people think, because when I made videos about you don't need a full frame, I think you don't need a full frame. Many people said, yeah, but full frame cameras are better built and weather sealed. That's not true. Some are, but there are many APS-C and several Micro Four Thirds that also weather sealed and freeze protected and all this, and really well built. So this is not something that is relevant anymore. So really, the evolution is complicated for Nikon and for Canon. I would say that Nikon is more or less escaping. Why? Because they're working on serious mirrorless solution, and their clients are normally faithful, and except some small problem that the Nikon had, and it was maybe not solved as expected, like some problem on the 7000 series and the 800, but then they solved it with new models or this, and at the end people were still happy. But who has a real problem is Canon, because they're destroying their APS-C line and they're not giving good quality full frame cameras. So they're really in trouble, because if people go to Fujifilm from Canon, they will not come back. They will not come back. And if they try medium format, they will not go back to full frame, except they need reportage this, but then they will get the APS-C of the same brands, whether it's Fujifilm or Pentax. So who is the real enemy of Nikon and Canon? I think the real enemy is Fujifilm, and the real enemy of full frame is medium format. And medium format cameras are going to see their price going lower and lower, and the result they give, the speed they can use, the speed of autofocus is going to get better and better every day. So they're going to take away clients from full frame. So companies like Nikon, if they keep doing quality like the 850, well, yeah, that will be okay. But if Canon doesn't react, giving a real good quality camera, they're going to be in big trouble. Well, I hope you like this video. If you think it's useful to anyone, you can share it. There's a button down here, so you can share it on social network, WhatsApp, or wherever. And if you have not done yet, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a button down here and a small bell. If you click on it, you get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgimbal.com. If you have any question, you can leave a comment below or send me an email to info@ericgimbal.com. And below in comment, in description, I also put a list of other parts of my YouTube channel and a list of my gear on Amazon. Thank you very much. Bye.